Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. So this video I'm going to be going through my whole entire makeup collection. So I did do a very big declutter not long ago. So I've gotten rid of a lot of makeup and basically everything in my drawers are products that I really like a lot. There's not really anything in there that I don't like because I mean what would be the point? So now that it's been a bit downsized, I thought why not just film a makeup collection video? Why not? And I thought that I could also use this as an opportunity to kind of talk about my favourite products, my recommendations, because as I said, pretty much everything in here now I like and would recommend, but I can get into more detail into that once we get there. I'm probably going to go through every single product in there. I might as well. I mean, my makeup collection obviously is quite big, but it's not like some of the beauty gurus on here. I do watch a few makeup collection videos from them, and boy, have they got a lot of makeup. I mean, I thought I had a lot, but really it's not that much compared to the people that, you know, do this for a living. So okay, so without further ado, let's head on over to my makeup collection. So all of the most recent makeup that I've brought, so my makeup that's in my rotation is just in these drawers up here at my desk. So these are from like my most recent first impressions videos. I've got the Morphe stuff, the Misguided stuff, and then just some random other things. So this is all the makeup that I basically try and use pretty much every day at the moment, unless I'm doing like a specific video where I need to use something else. Yeah, this just all lives up at my desk right now so that I will reach for it more because it's literally right in front of me when I do my makeup, because this is where I do my makeup. This is everything. So my brushes, I'm not going to go for my brushes because that's boring. I don't care. And yeah, all my setting sprays are up here. I don't have that many setting sprays. So I've got Morphe Luminous Setting Spray, Revolution Fix and Glow, Continuous Setting Mist, NYX Dewy Finish in the corner there, Urban Decay All Nighter, XX Revolution Moisturizing, I think that's what that's called, Revelation Glass Glow Fix, the L'Oreal Shake and Glow collection, Dewy Finish. Quite a modest collection of setting sprays, but I do quite like the majority of these. Okay, so this chest of drawers here in the top part, basically all of my makeup is in here. I do have these drawers over here. There's a couple of eyeshadow palettes in the bottom drawers, which I will go through later in the video. But other than that, other than those just few eyeshadow palettes, pretty much everything is in these. Okay, so this is the first drawer in this chest. So this is where I keep my foundations and my primers. As you can see, everything's separated. I've got a little system going on here. Okay, so I'll start in this corner. This is all of my primers. I've definitely downsized this a lot. Everything in here are primers that I like. Most of them are glowy ones. There's a few sort of pore blurring ones in here just because I wanted to keep some for the sake of it, but generally I prefer glowy ones. So I've got the Technic Strobe Effects Cream, I've got the NYX High Glass Face Primer, I've got this one from Figs and Rouge, which is the Brightening Primer and Illuminator. One of my favourites, the Barry M Glowmance Soft Focus, had that a while, really like that one. The e.l.f. Glow Lotion, which I think this is discontinued unfortunately, but I really like that one, so I obviously kept it. I've got a little mini MAC Prep and Prime, which I just kept because I might as well just use it up, and I don't mind it. It's quite like illuminating. It's not bad. I've got another Figs and Rouge one. This is their Glow Drops, very nice glowy primer. NYX Honeydew Me Up, I do quite like that one, so I wanted to keep it. I've got the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which I don't rate that much, but I wanted to just keep a few pore blurring ones, so I did keep that one. Then I also kept this as another pore blurring one, which is the Revlon Photo Ready. This is like the only pore blurring one where I feel like I do actually notice a very subtle difference. I feel like generally I just don't really notice much difference when it comes to pore blurring primers, but this one I feel like I sort of did notice a difference, and maybe slightly with the e.l.f. one. But yeah, quite a modest collection, but I'm happy with this because I do actually like everything here and would like happily reach for any of these with any makeup look. This corner here I did put all of my white and yellow mixes, so some of them are concealer mixes, some of them are like foundation mixes. So I've got the LA Girl Pro Color Mixing Pigment, got a Nip and Fab white foundation, another LA Girl product, the Pro Coverage HD, which is just a white foundation, NYX Pro Mixer, I've got this Technic one, which is actually a white concealer. I've got a yellow and a white of the e.l.f. I think they're called like mix to match adjusters. Yeah, mix to match adjusters. I've got a yellow and a white one. All my like colour correcting concealers are in here too, because I don't have that many. I got rid of quite a lot. But I've got two collection Lasting Perfections. I've got the yellow and a purple one. I do have the green Lasting Perfection, but I put that in my rotation drawers just because I've been using it a lot lately because acne. And then I've got a Revolution Conceal and Correct green one as well. And then this Makeup Obsession Mega Concealer is a white concealer. This is just for situations where my foundation or my concealer is too dark, or if it's a little bit too cool, too pink, I would obviously use a yellow. Then all the foundations are in either one of these two at the back or these at the front. So these at the front, as you can see, I've sort of written here in highlighter are my favourite foundations. These are the ones that I would reach for and know that I'm going to get a good base with them. These are like my ultimate favourites. So we've got Tarte Face Tape Foundation, love this. Kiko Unlimited Foundation, that's a more recent find, but I do really like this foundation. I've got two of the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wears, one of my all-time favourite foundations. One's in pearl and one's I think is in porcelain or something like that. Maybelline Superstay, still a favourite of mine. I know they've come out with like the activewear version of this, so I will try that one out at some point. I don't know if that's replacing this or if this is still going, but I've had this specific bowl for ages, so I'm going to repurchase the activewear one, and if it's just as good as this one, then I might as well just keep buying that one. But if it's not as good, then I will repurchase another one of these. MAC Studio Fix Fluid, love that foundation. And then in the corner here, I've got the Tarte Amazonian Clay, which I didn't like this that much at first when I had it. I mean, I bought this like years ago now, but this one grew on me a lot and I really like it. It's got a lovely finish. Those are like my ultimate favourites. There are some in the back that I feel like I'm bordering on like being in this box, but just didn't quite make it. This basket here, I put my light to medium coverage foundations. You should be able to see I wrote that on the box there. So to go through them all, I've got Urban Decay Stay Naked Foundation. That's a more recent one. I do like it, but again, it's more on the light to medium coverage. Everything in this box is obviously not a very full coverage, but there were things that I liked about the finish of them that made me want to keep them, and the wear as well. Barry M All Night Long Foundation Stick, again, not full coverage, but this is one of my favourite finishes in a foundation ever. There's just something very pore layering and natural about the way this one looks. I don't know if this is discontinued, it might be, but I'm keeping mine. Maybelline Dream Urban Cover, I do quite like that foundation. Sleek Life Proof Foundation, I don't mind that one at all. I've got the Carter Beauty Full Measure HD Foundation, I do want to retry that one soon. Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. This one's very recent to my collection, the Technic Sculpt and Define Matte Finish Foundation, really like that one. W7 Genius Featherlight Foundation. EX1 Invisiwear Foundation, the B Filter Finish Foundation, the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation, W7 Very Vegan Foundation. This is a really good light coverage foundation. This wears really well and has a lovely finish. And the Bell Hypoallergenic. This is just called like Matte and Soft Makeup. Again, this is one I've not used in a while and would like to revisit. So yeah, these are more of my light sort of buildable to medium kind of coverage foundations, because I mean generally I do prefer a sort of more high medium buildable to full coverage, but I do like this on occasion. Occasionally this is the vibe I want to go for, so hence why they are still here. And then in the other box, which is a little bit more full, I've got the high medium to full coverage foundations, and there is a few in here that I feel like are bordering on favourites, but I just, for whatever reason, maybe because of the sides of the box, they didn't quite make the cut. So we've got Estee Lauder Double Wear. Again, this is probably one of those foundations. I really like this one. Wet n Wild Foundation. Again, I feel like this is a good dupe for the MAC one actually, but yeah, I'm a really big fan of that. NYX Born to Glow Foundation. Last time I used this was in my One Brand NYX video, and I have to say my base looked pretty damn good in this. So generally I'm not about that sort of glowy finish foundation, but I do quite like this one actually. The Topshop Longwear Liquid Foundation. I do think Topshop doesn't make makeup anymore, but I remember like really liking this foundation, so I wanted to hold on to it. Got the Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. This is probably my favourite foundation that Revolution's done. It just has a very like matte pore blurring finish, which I absolutely love. Recent one to my collection is Zoeva Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. Spoken about that one recently on my channel. W7 Photo Shoot foundation, very long wearing foundation. W7 Matte Made in Heaven foundation. I think I've got 2 of the W7 Face Fantasy foundations. Yep, there's another one next to it. Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. Again, this is one that I would quite like to retry. CYO Life Proof foundation. I remember everyone used to love this back in the day. Thought I would hold on to it. Kiko Full Coverage 2-in-1 foundation. I don't like this quite as much as the Unlimited, but I do still quite like this foundation. Another recent one, the Collection Lasting Perfection Matte Foundation. Really actually do quite like this a lot. L'Oreal Infallible 24 Matte Cover. Again, don't like this quite as much as my Fresh Wear, but I didn't dislike it. Another Belle foundation. This is the Full Cover Foundation in 01 Ivory. Thought I would hang on to my Ordinary foundation. This is the Coverage foundation. I do want to try their new concealer soon. NARS Sheer Glow Classic. I've got 2 shades of the Fiera Liquid Foundation. This is an underrated gem. You can get this on Amazon. This has like full coverage. It lasts. Lovely matte finish. This is actually a little bit of a hidden gem. I really like this. And I did decide to hold on to my XX Revolution. I think it's called the Foundation. I did decide to hold on to that one. Again, this has got really good coverage. Majority foundations here I love. There's some that I would like to kind of retry. I've not used in a while, but I had like good memories, so that's why I kept them. But yeah, I will be using some in like Shop My Stash videos, hopefully soon. But yes, that's pretty much all of my foundations. I'm quite happy with the collection. If there's anything that I retry and I discover I don't like it as much as I remembered, I probably will just end up decluttering it. But for now, I'm pretty happy with my little bunch of foundations up here. Yes, my ultimate favourite foundations that I would recommend is the ones in this box that I talked about at the start. Also, I'd say the Fiera foundations, Estee Lauder, that's a good one. Revolution Conceal and Define, Collection Lasting Perfection, all of those. And probably more in here as well. I mean, none of these I dislike, otherwise they would have gone straight away. But yeah, that's foundations. That's what I recommend. So let's move on to the next drawer. I do like my little organisation here. I think it's cute. Do you think my organisation system's pretty good? The next drawer has got all of my concealers and all of my setting powders in it. So over on this side, I put all of my high-end concealers in this basket, and then I put all of my drugstore concealers in this basket. I don't know, I just liked to organise it that way. Okay, so starting with the high-end basket, so we've got the Urban Decay Stay Naked Concealer, which I do quite like. The classic, the Tarte Shape Tape, absolutely love this. We'll repurchase this when it runs out. One of my all-time favourite concealers. The coverage is insane. Also got the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I've not used this one in a while, but I do remember liking it, so that's there. It's been on that side, so it's all, I think it's NC50 the shade. I've got the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I did just buy the Soft Matte Complete Foundation, but this is, again, one of my favourite concealers. I love this. It has the nicest texture ever. Great coverage. The shade works really well for me. It's, what is it? Chantilly. This is one of my favourites. Again, this is one that I think I would buy another one when I run out. This one has barely any product left in it. This is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. I do quite like this. Not as much as the Shape Tape, but it is a decent concealer. I don't know if Zoeva is considered high-end or drugstore, but it was quite pricey, so I just put it in the high-end box. This is Authentic Skin Perfector. Recent to my channel, have spoken about it in my last updated makeup review. There is barely anything left in this. I think I probably would rebuy another one. I think it was just the shade I wasn't sure about with this. But this is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. Absolutely love this, but again, I don't know. This is in Lace, and it was a little bit dark for me, but the shade that's lighter is like really cool toned apparently, so I don't know. I probably will buy another one, but I'm just not sure what shade I'd get. Got the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. That's not a bad concealer, not one of my all-time favourites, but it's not bad. Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer. Not used this in a while, actually. I would quite like to use it. I don't think there's much left in this tube, actually. 105, it's very yellow toned. One of my favourites, the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This is in Swan, a tiny bit dark for me, but it's good for like covering blemishes, just not so much for brightening under the eyes, but I do really like this guy. Then my last high-end concealer is the NARS what are you called? I forgot what it's called. Radiant Creamy Concealer. I do really like this one. That's in it. Also in Chantilly. Yeah, I really like my little collection of high-end concealers. I feel like the majority of these I love. There's a couple that I'm like, yeah, like the Cover FX one, but majority of these I love, and a lot of these I would definitely repurchase if I ran out of them. But yeah, nice little collection of high-end concealers we've got there. And then we've got slightly more drugstore ones. So one of my more recent ones, the Technic 3-in-1 Canvas Concealer. This is very underrated and very good, and it's about £4. Love that. I've got a supersized version of the Conceal and Define from Revolution. I've got the Fiera Full Coverage Concealer, which has really similar packaging to the NARS one, actually. I wouldn't say it's a dupe, just because this one is a lot oilier than the NARS one, but this in terms of coverage, I would say it's a dupe. It's got really good coverage. It's got a nice finish. It's a little bit oilier than I would like, but I feel like a lot of people would actually really like this. L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. Didn't like this at first, but this really grew on me, and I do actually really like it now. NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I've got this in 2 shades. I don't know where the other one is. It's in here somewhere, but this one is fair, and I also have pale in here somewhere. Got the XX Revolution Concealer. Got the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Concealer. I think I have another shade of this in here as well. This and the Tarte Shape Tape are my all-time favourite concealers. The e.l.f. Camo, love this. I do plan on doing a one brand e.l.f. video within the next few months, so I am going to rebuy this one, and I think I'm going to get it in a deeper shade as well. And I also do want to try the hydrating version of this as well, so we'll pick up one of the hydrating ones too. Wet n Wild, I think is this Photo Focus? What's this called? Yes, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. Another little underrated cheap gem. This is actually pretty good. It's got very nice coverage. Got another Conceal and Define from Revolution. This one was in a different shade though. This is 0.2. I think the big one I have is in F1, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's F1. Not F1, C1, 0.2 is a bit better for undertones, but it is a little bit pale, but can use it to brighten. A classic, this is the Barry M All Night Long Concealer. All the writing is sort of worn off. I think there's 2 in here. This is a very good drugstore concealer. I actually really like it. Yeah, that's the second shade of the Can't Stop, Won't Stop NYX one. And then I've got the old formula of the Lasting Perfection. Thought I might as well hold on to it, but then I have also got the newer formula one up here. This is in a lighter shade, whereas this one is a little bit deeper. It's more so for blemish concealing. I'm pretty happy with my more affordable side as well. I feel like pretty much everything here is pretty damn good. There's some favourites in here for sure. I'm pretty happy with my concealers. I feel like everything here I would happily reach for. And then on this side we've got my powders. So I put all of my pressed powders at the back here. There is a little sort of divider thing here. And then all of my loose powders are at the front here. It's a little bit rammed. So starting with the pressed ones at the back, I've got 2 from Belle here. So I've got the Belle Hypoallergenic Perfectionist Powder, which is a little bit more glowy. And then I've got the Fixing Matte Powder. I really like the Belle setting powders. I've got the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. I've got a pressed powder from No. 7, which is called their Translucent Perfect Light Pressed Powder. I've got the MAC Studio Fix Foundation. I think this is in, what are you in, NC10. The Maybelline Super Stay. I've got the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage powder, and I've got the Technic Superfine Blotting Powder, which is another recent one. I thought I'd just keep it and use it up because there's barely anything left in it. I've got the Fiera Sheer Matte Fixing Powder. Again, as you can see, there's not a lot left in that one. I've got another Technic one here, the Superfine Translucent Powder. Are they the same? Well, they're not the same because this one's definitely darker. But, I don't know. Got another powder from Belle. This is their matte powder. This one's in like a skin toned colour though. One is nearing its end. Maybelline Matte Maker Powder. W7 Set It Up Pressed Powder. MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder. Revolution Conceal and Define Powder Foundation. Really like that one. And the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Powder Foundation. And then loose powders. I've just got this RCMA powder that's just kind of floating about on top. I actually did put some of it in this old moisturiser packaging that has got some of the RCMA powder in it. I've not used the RCMA in a long time, so I definitely want to try that out again soon. I've got the most recent Zoeva powder that I used there. I've Got this one from LOV. The Shine Control Loose Powder Perfected Tube. That's not a bad powder. I've got the Fiera. I've got the Fiera No Filter Setting Powder there. Again, very affordable but decent powder. I've got the Coty Airspun Powder. Again, I do want to revisit that soon. I've not used it in a while. I've got the number 7. I've got the number 7 Loose Setting Powder. This is the Fenty Beauty one. That's in lavender. One of my all-time favourites, the Laura Mercier powder in translucent. The W7 Set It Up Loose Powder. I do have the pressed version as well. Again, as I said, that's got RCMA in it. Can't Stop, Won't Stop Loose Powder. Really like that. That's a recent one I've tried. I've got the baking powder from B. That's in the shade Light. That's pretty good. I've got 2 of the L'Oreal Infallible Magic Loose Powders. This is, again, another all-time favourite setting powder for me. I've got 2 of them. One of them's pretty much empty, I think. I've got the Barry M Ready Set Smooth powder. This isn't one of my favourites, but I've just held on to it because I do think I want to do a one brand Barry M video at some point, so I've just held on for that reason. But I wouldn't say this is one of my favourite setting powders, but it's not bad. I've got the I Heart Revolution Coconut powder, Beauty Bakery Flour powder, and the Maybelline Fit Me powder in 05. There, again, I'm pretty damn happy with my powder collection. There are some really good ones here. There's some that I'm just sort of keeping to use up that are almost gone, specifically with my pressed powders at the back. But there are a lot of really good ones in here. I'd say my all-time favourites would be obviously the Laura Mercier, the L'Oreal Magic Loose Setting Powders, the more recent one, the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Loose Powder. That is probably a new favourite, I would say. W7 Set It Up is a favourite. Maybelline Fit Me is a favourite for under the eyes. This Fiera one is also underrated gem. For pressed powders, I'd say all of my Belle ones I like quite a lot. Revolution Powder Foundation, Revolution Conceal and Define Powder Foundation is pretty good. I do quite like all of my NYX ones. All of my MAC ones are pretty good. The shades aren't perfect, but they have pretty nice finishes. I do quite like the Maybelline Matte Maker, you know. Honestly, almost everything in here I really like, actually. Okay, so moving on to the next drawer. This is kind of one of my favourite sort of organisational structures through all of these drawers. So this is basically all of my cheek products. So I've got bronzers. And a few are the contour products in those 2 dividers at the back, and then a bit at the front here. And then I've got highlighters in this box and also in this box, and then I've got all of my blushes at the front down here. I'm going to start with blushes because I think this is my smallest collection, but everything in here I really like. So I've got the I Heart Revolution Blushing Hearts. I've had this one for years, but it's a really nice blush. Shade in the corner is also a really nice highlight. LOV Blushment Blurring Blush. This is in the shade Beautiful Minds and Power Others, and it's a beautiful cool tone blush. This is definitely one of my favourite blushes. Got an XX Revolution blush. This one's in Risque. They've got loads of shades of the XX Revolution one. I've got a blush from Douce. It's a nice sort of red corally one. This is in the shade Hidden Tropics. I've got 3 single blushes from Sleek. So we've got Rose Gold, which is a more pinky toned one. Antique, which is a more cool toned one. I love this. This is probably my favourite. And then we've got Flushed, which is a more red, rosy one. I really like the Sleek blushes, so I had to keep those. I've got this one from Flower Beauty. This is in Sweet Pea, beautiful blush. I've got this one from Kiko. This is their Silicon Notes Baked Blush. I think this was one of the limited edition ones, but Kiko has loads of really nice cheek products. I've got this blush from a brand called Lavel. I got this off of Amazon like years ago. It's super cheap, but I kept it because I love the shade, which is Damson. It is quite a cool toned colour. I had to keep it just because of the shade, and it was like £2 or something ridiculous. I've got one of Ciarte's. I think it's called like the Illuminating Blush. The shade is In Too Deep. Again, very cool toned. Really like this blush. I've got this little guy from Bourjois, which is the shade Brun Curve, which I kept because I think the shade is super cute and they're a very nice formula and they smell really nice. So Bourjois apparently discontinued, but there's a website that I shop on called Natino, which has loads of Bourjois products on. Some that I'd never even heard of before, even when it was in like Boots and Superdrug in the UK. So I don't know, there might be some. So some of the Bourjois products that I still have in my collection, you might be able to get on Natino, so I'll have a look for that. I've got a Milani Baked Blush. This is in Dulce Pink, I believe. I've got this blush from Revolution, which is the shade Hard Day. I got this in a Christmas advent calendar, probably like about 4 years ago now. But I kept it just because I love the shade. I think you're sensing a theme here. I'm a big fan of a cool toned blush. I don't know, there's just something about cool toned blushes that I love. So that's why I had to keep that one. Okay, so moving on to bronzers and contours. Most of the contour stuff is just in this corner here. I've got a Collection Perfecting contour stick here. And I've got a Nip and Fab contour stick here. But I've also got this LA Girl. It's a blush shade, but it is basically a contour colour. It's the shade Just Because, and as you can see, it's a lovely taupe contour shade. Down the side, I do have this palette as well. It's just one of those magnetic palettes. I do want to put some other stuff in here. There are some like eyeshadow palettes I want to like depop a few shades of, so that I can kind of get rid of the rest of the palette. But I've got a Makeup Geek contour shade here. I think the shade is Love Triangle. And then the rectangular one is from a No. 7 face palette that I got recently on my channel. I just wanted to take the bronzer shade out because I really liked the bronzer shade. But I got rid of the rest of the palette. But yeah, this palette is just vacant space for things that I want to put in it. I have obviously got a little bit of extra space in here for any new bronzers to go in. But most recent bronzer, the Revolution Pro Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Bar here. It's one of my favourites, but I didn't dislike it enough to want to get rid of it. I've got this from Bordura. This is their Air Matte powder, but I got it in a deeper shade to bronze with. I did have quite a few Bordura bronzers, but I did get rid of them. I just kept this one because I just kept this one because I liked the shade of it. And again, as I said earlier, I think you might be able to get some Bordura products on the Tino, so I will have a look into that. One of my all-time favourites, Hula Light, love that. Got a baked bronzer from Milani. This is in the shade Dulce. Another one of my all-time favourites, the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. One of my all-time favourites, Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Absolutely love that. And then I brought some of these little holders off of Amazon. I'm considering buying more, but then I kind of like how it's all organised in here as it is. But I've got all of my bronzers in these. I've got the rest of my bronzers in these two here. The Fenty Beauty Sunstalker, the shade is In the Sun. I love that. I've got this bronzer from Laura Geller, which is in the shade Siesta Medium. It's a Beach Matte Baked Hydrating Bronzer. This might be discontinued because I got this in a cohorted beauty box ages ago. Yeah, even though the shade was medium, I did actually find that it worked pretty well for me, so I wanted to keep it. This is a very old product and it's probably discontinued, but this is the Essence Light Up Your Face Illuminator palette, and this has a lovely bronzer shade in it, which is this one on the end here. It works beautifully as a bronzer, so I had to keep it for that. Oh my god. I've got a Kiko Tuscan Sunshine bronzer in 01 Sweet Honey. It was limited edition, but I absolutely love the tone of this bronzer, so I had to keep it. I've got a No. 7 bronzer here in Golden Sand. Really good shade, really like that one. Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. One of my favourites from 2020, love that guy. I don't know if they still make this, but this is a Makeup Obsession bronzer. This might be magnetic actually, so I might be able to stick that in my palette that I have here possibly. This is the large bronzer in the shade BZ01 Natural. Yeah, it does come out of the packaging, so I might see if that fits in my magnetic palette, but this is a really nice shade, so I had to keep it. Don't know if it's still available. At the back, I've got the Maybelline City bronzer. This is in the lightest shade. If you're in the UK, you can get the lightest shade off of eBay, which is 100, but it's not in Boots or Superdrug. I thought it was kind of worth spending a little bit of extra money because it is a really nice bronzer and the shade is great for pale skin. Got the Rimmel Lasting Radiance powder, which I think was meant as like a setting powder, but for me it works really good as a bronzer, and if I ever do a one brand Rimmel look, I'll obviously need a bronzer from them. I've got a Revolution bronzer Reloaded in Holiday Romance, really good. Very affordable bronzer here, the MUA Matte Bronzing Powder. This is in the shade Solar 100. This is like £3 or something, but it's really good and the shade works really good for pale skin. I've got a bronzer from Belle Hypoallergenic. This is their bronze powder in the shade number 2. I've got the L'Oreal True Match Blendable Powder, but this is in a deeper shade. This is in, I think the shade is Golden Beige. I can't see it written on here, but obviously it's meant as a setting powder, but I do like to sometimes buy setting powders in deeper shades to use as a bronzer, and that is one of my favourites. Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 01, love that. One of my all-time favourites, the Body Shop Bronzing Powder in 01. I think this might be discontinued, you know, which is very silly if it is, because this is an amazing pale skin bronzer. That's one of my favourites. And I've got this little guy from e.l.f. here, which again, I'm just kind of holding on to this in case I do a one brand e.l.f. video, although I might pick up a different bronzing product, I'm not sure, but this is actually pretty good, so I think it's just called their bronzer and it's in the shade Sunkissed. I don't know if it's discontinued or not, but it's actually pretty good and it was like £3 or something. So if you have very pale skin, I feel like there's some really good recommendations here. So my all-time favourites, I would say the Maybelline City Bronzer at the back there. The Revlon Skin Lights is a really good one. Fenty Beauty, the Body Shop, the Milani one, L'Oreal True Match, the MUA one, Hoola Lights, Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. Those would be some of my all-time favourites, but pretty much everything here I can get away with on my skin tone and have really nice formulas. So I'm very happy with my little bronzer collection at the moment. We've found some very good ones there. So moving on to highlighters, I have put all of my high-end ones on this side. It's a little bit smaller, and then all of my drugstore ones on this side. With the drugstore ones, so I've got the Princess Cut Triple Bait Highlighter from I Heart Revolution. Very icy highlighter. I've had this one in my collection for years. It's so past its best, but this is definitely still one of my all-time favourites. It's the Goddess of Love Triple Bait Highlighter from I Heart Revolution. Beautiful, gorgeous, pigmented, diffused highlighter. It's got a pinky tone. I love this highlighter, so even if it is 4 years old, I'm not getting rid of it. I've got palettes at the back. So I've got the LOV Love Illusion Holographic Highlighter Palette, which looks like this. This is one of my all-time favorite highlighting products. So this is the Revolution Pro Supreme Highlighter Ice. These have an amazing texture. They're super pigmented. The shade in the middle is the one that I go for the most. It's a bit more wearable than the other two. The other two are quite holographic, but the one in the middle is like a lovely gold colour. Love this palette, it's stunning. I've got a classic, the Sleek Solstice palette. I wanted to hold on to this one because I know it's a bit of a cult favourite. Here's what it looks like. Don't really use the cream, but I do like the shades of the actual powders. I've got two H&M highlighters. Again, I don't know if H&M still does makeup, but I did really like their highlighters, so I wanted to keep them. I mean, I actually hit pan on one of them, and I don't really hit pan on highlighters that often. That one's Delicate Pearl. I actually love that. And then I've got Moonlit Halo. I've got my Beauty Bay highlighter. Got my XX Revolution highlighter. Another all-time favourite, the Wet n Wild highlighting powder in Blossom Glow. That's a gorgeous highlighter. I love that one. L'Oreal Iconic Glow highlighting powder. This is more of a finishing powder than it is a highlighter, but if you just tap it all over your face once you've set your makeup, it works really well to give you a glowy finish, but just as a straight up highlighter, it's not great, but I love it as a finishing powder. In a similar vein, I've got two of the Revolution Pro skin finishes in Luminescent, which is a similar thing to that L'Oreal one. You sort of tap it all over your face to give you a glowy finish, but you can sort of use this one as a highlighter as well, but it'll just be a very soft, subtle one. My highlighter from New Look, which is their bait highlighting powder. Again, New Look makeup is probably discontinued, but their highlighter is so gorgeous that I had to keep it. I've got two of the Technic Get Gorgeous highlighting powders. I definitely want to pick up some more of these because these are stunning. They're so pigmented. I want to get some more wearable shades though, because these are quite icy, quite silvery sort of shade, so I want to see if there's like more sort of wearable colours that I can get my hands on, but I do love those still. Revolution Reloaded highlighter, Set the Tone, very white highlighter. I've got the NYX Illuminator. Hey look, I hit pan on that one as well. That's a really nice one. That one might be discontinued though. One of my all-time favourites, the Milani Afterglow highlighter in 01. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous highlight. I've got an e.l.f. highlighter, which again, I'm just sort of hanging on to this for my One Brand e.l.f. video. This isn't one of my favourites. I might get rid of it once I've filmed that video. Maybelline Face Studio Chrome Extreme highlighter. MUA Shimmer Highlight Powder. This one's in Silver Wonder. I've got this highlight from Catrice, the Glow Mineral Highlighting Powder. This is a gorgeous highlighter if you want something that's very natural and soft. It just looks beautiful on the skin. I've got this highlight from Pop Beauty, Celestial Light. This is a gorgeous highlighter. That is definitely one of my favourites as well. NYX Born to Glow highlighter. That's a very good wet looking highlighter. And this is another one of my favourites. This is the Belle Hypoallergenic Face and Body Illuminating Powder. As you can see, I've hit pan on that one. That is one of my favourites. So on the high end side, which is a bit smaller, I've got this one from Doll Beauty, which I actually smashed, which is really sad. But as you can see, I sort of mushed it together with my fingers because I did not want to give up on this guy. And this is an absolutely stunning highlighter. I do love this. So yes, of course I'm going to use this mushed up remains. I've got this little mini from Tarte. This is their exposed highlighter. I did use it in a Shop My Stash video recently, and it is gorgeous, so I had to keep a hold of it. I do love that. This one I have sort of mixed thoughts on, but I kind of wanted to keep it just because it's expensive. This is the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Bomb, which I think, as you can see, it's got a very strange texture. And again, this is more of a wet looking highlighter than it is like a sort of pigmented shimmer per se, but I sort of just kept it because it's expensive, and you know, I can get it to work. Definitely one of my all-time favorites, Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. I think Becca is closing down, which is a shame because I love this highlighter. Another one that I've hit pan on. Too Faced Diamond Fire. I love this one. It comes out sort of silvery gold color. That's gorgeous. I don't really reach for this much more, but I mean, it's like 40 quid, so I had to keep it. Anastasia Moonchild Glow Kit. I think you can tell which one is my favorite shade in here, but they are gorgeous highlighters. Then at the back, I've got this one from BH Cosmetics, the Blacklight 6-color palette. Again, this is one of my old favorites. Again, I think you can see which one is my favorite shade. This is an amazing quality highlighter palette. I would definitely recommend it. Yes, if you want pigmentation, this is great. I mean, I guess BH Cosmetics technically isn't high-end, but I just kind of put it in there because it fits a bit better in here. Okay, so my ultimate recommendations for highlighter would be the BH Cosmetics one, the Becca one, Doll Beauty one, Goddess of Love from Revolution, the Revolution Pro Trio, the Wet n Wild Mega Glow, Milani Afterglow, the Belle Hypoallergenic one, the Catrice one, and the Pop Beauty one. I'd say those are my ultimate favourites out of all of them, but I pretty much love everything that's in here anyway. Okay, so moving on to the next drawer, which I do find quite satisfying to look at. So we've got kohl eyeliners in this basket at the back. We've got eyebrow gels in this basket here. In the middle, I've just got liquid eyeliners. Down here, I've got brow pencils. And then at the back, I've got mascaras. Okay, so for kohl eyeliners, so pretty much all of these are black ones. I think there's a couple nudes in here, maybe. LA Girl Glide On Gel Eyeliner. I think this little one here is a sleek eyeliner. I've got a Kiko eyeliner, Bourjois Contour Clubbing eyeliner, Belle Hypoallergenic eyeliner, Jordana eyeliner, I've got an Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil, Catrice Inside Eye Kajal, I've got another Kiko one, and another Catrice one. I've got an e.l.f. Twisty Up one, Lottie London AM to PM, L'Oreal Le Signature eyeliner, XX Revolution one, Maybelline Tattoo eyeliner, NYX Slide On Glide On eyeliner. I've got this little pen from My Heart Revolution, which is adorable. I love that. Sigma Longwear eyeliner, and the Gosh the Ultimate eyeliner. Some of my all-time favourites, I would say the little sleek one is a good one. The Maybelline Tattoo eyeliner, I did actually buy another one of that. That is definitely a favourite. L'Oreal one is really good for not smudging in the inner corners, but it's definitely not one of the most pigmented in here. Don't know, I'm not really sure. All of these are pretty decent though, to be fair. This one here has got mostly eyebrow gels in it. I do have this powder from Benefits, Foolproof Brow Powder. Just kept it just in case I needed a brow powder for anything. I've got a Technic Clear Brow Gel, but I think everything else is a tinted brow gel in here. So I've got the Tarte Busy Gal Brows, Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. I've got the collection of Fast Brow Tinted Brow Gel. I think this has a different name now, but this is a sort of paint on your brows kind of thing. Catrice Brow Colorist, NYX Tinted Brow Mascara, the B Brow Gel, Max Factor Brow Revival, LOV Browtitude. I got this one from New Look, which again, New Look makeup is discontinued, but I kept it because I liked it. Benefit Give Me Brow, I think I've got two in here. Obviously, I love the Benefit Give Me Brow. W7 Queen of Brows, e.l.f. Wow Brow, L'Oreal Unbeliever Brow. This is another sort of paint on your brows kind of thing. Milani Stay Put, that is a recent one. Belle Hypoallergenic Brow Gel, another recent one, the number 7 Brow Gel. So my all-time favourites would definitely be the Benefit Give Me Brow. I absolutely love that. Definitely the e.l.f. Wow Brow, that is definitely a favourite. Newer favourite would be this one from LOV. I only really use the end that has the brush on it, but this is a really good brow gel. The Milani one is a new favourite. Do quite like this Max Factor one. Yeah, there's a lot of pretty decent ones in there, but those I would say are my ultimate favourites. Quite a modest collection of liquid liners because, I mean, why do you need to have loads of liquid eyeliners? You don't really. So I've got two of the You Can Be to find a liquid eyeliners. One's a brown and one's a black. Absolutely love these. These are such good quality and so affordable. I've got this one. I've got the Bourjois Contour Clubbing Liquid Eyeliner. It's not a bad one, so I kept it. A new one to my collection, NYX Epic Ink Liner. That's a fantastic liquid liner. I've got this little mini Tarte. What are you called? Clay paint liner. Again, it's like a little tube. You sort of squeeze it out and then paint it on. It's not bad. It's not one of my favourites, but I thought I'd just keep it. Maybelline Tattoo Liquid Liner. Yeah, and I think that's it. They all work. They all do the job. My ultimate favourites are the You Can Be and the NYX one. Then I've got all of my brow pencils. Most of them are micro brow pencils. So I've got the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, Sleek Microfine Brow Pencil, Max Factor Brow Revival, so Weaver Graphic Brows. I've got a Makeup Revolution one, Rimmel London Brow Pencil, the Nabla Brow Divine, XX Revolution Brow Pencil, I love that one, Be Perfect Indestructible Brow, the Beauty Crop Brow Pencil, those two are recent ones, Makeup Obsession Brow Goals, NYX Micro Brow Pencil, a classic, LA Girl Brow Pencil, W7 Stroke of Genius, love that one. BH Cosmetics Duo Brow Pencil, that's a old school favourite of mine. I've got the Benefit Goof Proof Pencil, which isn't a micro brow pencil, but I just kept it because it's Benefit. And then I've got a Revolution Pro one down there. So my ultimate favourites, that BH Cosmetics one, I've not used it in a while, but I remember loving it. The W7 Stroke of Genius is a really good one. XX Revolution, absolutely love that one. The Benefit one's pretty good. Max Factor one's pretty good. Honestly, most of these are pretty damn good, but those are some highlights. And then I've got some mascaras at the back here. Some of these are sort of nearing the end. Some of these don't have a lot of time left, but they're just chilling here. I'm just going to take them out and put them over here because my back is killing with all of this leaning. This is a very difficult video to film. So we've got Soap and Glory Thick and Fast Mascara, Maybelline Lash Sensational, Catrice Iconista Lash Millionizer, Wet n Wild Fibre Mascara that has two parts to it, Catrice Glam and Doll, L'Oreal X Fibre, No. 7 Velvet Lash, a recent one, Technic Intoxicate, Revlon All-in-One, Revlon Sophius, another recent one, the L'Oreal Air Volume. Oh my god, I love this one so much. This is from LOV. This is their what you call Love Rose Sculpting Volume Mascara. That's a fantastic mascara. I've got a Zoeva mascara, You Can Be mascara, recent one, NYX Worth the Hype, Flower Beauty Warrior Princess, that's a pretty good one, and another recent one, the No. 7 Exceptional Definition mascara. Ultimate favourites in here at the moment would definitely be this LOV one. I love that. That's an amazing mascara. The Revlon All-in-One is a really good one. This Wet n Wild one is so old now, but this is actually a really good mascara. That's why it's still here, even though it's like years old, because it still somehow has moisture in it. Maybelline Lash Sensational, it's a classic, but it is very good. Some of these are on their last legs, but they are just chilling here. Some I like more than others, but they're all usable mascaras, so I might as well keep them. Okay, so moving on to the last drawer. So on this side, we've got our more sort of creative things. So I've got a few little face stickers, a few little gems down here. I've not got a major collection of those. And then in this box, well, within this box, within a box, I've got all of my glitters in here. And I've also got all of my glitter glues, glitter adhesives. So I've got a few from this brand called Miobo. I got it off their website called like festivalglitters.co.uk. I've got a few of those. I've got a few, these are from Makeup Revolution. I've got a few of the NYX glitter palettes. Revolution glitter glue, NYX glitter primer, Barry glitter fixer gel. And in the corner back here, I've got a few loose pigments and then a few single eyeshadows. Some of my all-time favourites, the Kiko glitter showers. These are gorgeous. You've got to get the rose gold one, you got to get the silver one, and you got to get the gold one. I have two of these loose pigments from XX Revolution, which are stunning. You have to try some. I will buy some more colours of these at some point, but I've got two sort of green shades here. I've got two of the Fiera single eyeshadows. I just kept these because I really liked the shades of them and they are super pigmented. Beautiful olivey green one, and then I've got a blue one. Then I have a few loose pigments from NYX. I've got two green and a gold one. Then I do also have a NYX pigment primer here as well. And then I've got all of my colour eyeliners that aren't black ones. So I've got like one nude one from Cover FX there. I've got a brown one from Bourjois and a sort of bronzy one from Bourjois, and then the rest of them are all colourful. So most of these are Barry M high vis ones. I've got green, red, blue, pretty much everything there. I've got one of the Off Tropics ones from NYX, which is yellow, and I think that's it. So they're all there if I ever want a colourful waterline. And then I've got a few glitters, and then I've got a few glitters down here. So I've got two of the Glam Crystals from Collection. I've got a Fenty Beauty gold liner, and then I've got one of the then I've got one of the Barry M holographic eyeshadow toppers. So this side here is one feeling a bit more creative with eyes. On the other side, I've basically put all of my nude eyeshadow palettes, or predominantly nude palettes anyway. So basically the ones that I'm most likely to reach for, because this chest of drawers is obviously right next to my vanity. So obviously it's just easier accessible to me. So if I'm like going out and I just want, you know, like an everyday glam palette, they're right here for me. Okay, so going from the back, we've got the LOV Dare to Dare eyeshadow palette. That's pretty damn big. That's just chilling at the back. The XX Revolution Expectation palette. I've got this one from Makeup Obsession, which is definitely discontinued right now, but it's got this lovely marble packaging. And I remember the reason why it got discontinued is because people thought the shade names were too provocative, which was very hilarious to me at the time. But it's a really good palette, so I had to hold on to it even though it is discontinued and I can't recommend it. A very recent one to me, the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. This is becoming one of my favourites, I think. I absolutely love that. It's gorgeous. You've got neutrals, you've got cool tones, warm tones, everything. Beautiful green shimmer in the middle. I love that palette. I've got the Juvia's Place Saharan palette, the Maybelline Nudes of New York palette, one of the oldest palettes in my collection, the Revolution Neutrals versus Neutrals palette. I kind of just keep that for nostalgia and also because it's actually really good quality. Lottie London X Thule Living My Best Life palette. That's a really good palette. This palette from You Can Be, the Twilight Dusk palette. I think it's a rip-off of a Huda Beauty palette, but this is actually one of my favourites. It's really good. It looks like this, and the quality is actually insane. I've got one of the MAC Art Libraries, which looks like this. So Weaver Cocoa Blend. Recent one, the Body Shop Bold as Nature. This is limited edition, unfortunately, but it's really good, so I had to keep it. Love the Sky, the L'Oreal I Go Wild eyeshadow palette. That is really good. I would recommend it. This one that I keep mostly for nostalgia, because this was probably one of my first high-end eyeshadow palettes, the Too Faced Natural Eyes. I know they have completely different packaging for this now, but I mean, I just keep this because of nostalgia, and it's also pretty decent. It's not bad, but I love that little palette. I've got two palettes from Gosh, so I've got the To Rock Down Under, which has more warm tones in it, and then To Be Cool in Copenhagen, which is a lovely smoky cool tone palette. So that's everything in that drawer. Now I do have a few more palettes in my drawers over here. So I've got the rest of my Revolution ones in here, just because there's quite a lot of them. So I've got the Revolution Shook palette, I Heart Revolution Avocado palette, I've got Soph's palette, I've got the Kami palette. This is one of the palettes I want to just depot a few shades of, and then I probably will declutter it. I want like the foiled shades at the top because they are gorgeous, but I'm not the biggest fan of the mattes. I've got Tammy's original palette, the Tropical Paradise one. A more recent one, the Revolution Pro, What Are You Called, New Neutral Romance. Got the Turkish Delight palette from Revolution, and the I Heart Revolution Sprinkles palette. This has just got a random bunch of eyeshadows in it, so it has got some of my more recent ones. The Warrior Free by Juvia's Place, Elf Retro Paradise, those are very recent to me, just did a video on them. Another one of my Gosh ones is To Party in London. This is an all shimmer palette, but they are absolutely stunning, so I wanted to keep that. I've got Urban Decay Moon Dust, which I've not used in ages. I really hope I can use this in a Shop My Stash video soon. Got some beautiful glittery shimmers in it. Beauty Bay Pastels palette. I've got this one from Certify, the Affinity 2 palette, which is a really green blue palette. I feel like the last few times I've used this, I've not liked it so much, but I've not tried it with a wet base yet, so I have a feeling I might get better results with a wet base. Got the Beauty Glaze Strelitzia palette. This is another really cheap one, but the quality is actually insane. This red in particular is like the most pigmented red I've ever seen. One of my favourites, the e.l.f. 18 Hits Wonders, Sleek Major Morphosis, and the Barry M Shipwrecked. Eyeshadow is one of the things that I really struggled with decluttering. I think I only got rid of like 7 palettes altogether. It was very difficult for me to depart with these. And then lastly, I think my sort of bigger eyeshadow palettes are just sort of living here. So recent to my collection, Technic Ibiza, Pressed Pigments. Got the Nikki Tutorials Beauty Bay one, Urban Decay Full Spectrum, the Morphe 35M palette, BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, love that one, and the Be Perfect Carnival XL Pro palette. That is all of the eyeshadow palettes. There's so many in here that I'd recommend. That BH Cosmetics one is a really good one. Elf 18 Hit Wonders, that Beauty Glazed one is really good. Okay, so lastly, I've got all of my lip products up here. I actually just decluttered my lips before I filmed this video because I forgot to declutter them when I actually did my declutter a couple months ago. I put all liquid lipsticks there, I put my nude bullets here, and then my bullet lips that aren't nude shades at the back, and then I've got a few lip liners here. I do not have a very big collection of lip liners, and I really want to just buy some more nude lip liners because I really need some. Starting with them, I've got this one from B, which is like a plummy colour. I've got a Rimmel Exaggerate one, which is a red. Got the Urban Decay Glide On Lip Pencil, which is a nude shade. I think that's Naked for shade. I've got this one from Beauty UK, Pucker Up. That's like a pale pink shade. I've got this one from New Look, which is obviously discontinued, but that's just a brownie nude. Got a bright red one from Revolution. Then I've got one from Gosh, which is in Angel Kiss, another sort of nudie shade. So yeah, I definitely need a few more lip liners, that's for sure. Okay, so starting with the liquid lipsticks, I don't really buy liquid lipsticks anymore, but I just held on to a few because I liked the shades of them. And then I kept a few like out there shades as well. For example, at the back, the NYX Liquid Suede in Alien. I just kept that because you never know, I might want to look where I need a black lipstick. And the same with this guy. This is from Morphe. This is one of their like metallic liquid lipsticks in the shade Goldie. It's literally gold. I just kept it because it's gold. If I want to do a more artistic look where I need a gold, I have one, you know, but I'm probably not going to wear that out anywhere. I've got a deep plum one. This is from Gosh. This is one of their liquid matte lips. I've got this lovely chocolate chip colour from Barry M, and this is the Matte Me Up lip paint. I do quite like that actually. This is a lovely like cool tone brown nude from L'Oreal. It's their Le Chocolats, and it smells like fudge. It's amazing. I've got 2 of the NYX lingerie just because I really like the colour of these. So I've got Delicate Lust, which is more cool tone brown. And then Embellishment, which is more of a cool toned pinky sort of colour. I held on to this Belle Hypoallergenic one. It's just like a classic pinky nude. I've got 2 lip creams, so I've got the Revolution Clem, the Collection of Velvet Kiss. I've got a W7 Skinny Lipping, and the classic Wet n Wild Liquid Cat Suit, which is in the shade like Nudie. Is it Nudie Patootie? Nudie Patootie? Yeah, which is like an amazing cool tone nude shade. Then I have a lip strobe from Huda Beauty, which is basically like a rose gold gloss, but that's just chilling there because it's got nowhere else to go. So these are like my bullet lips that aren't just like sort of conventional nude shades. So I've got a few MAC ones. I've got Instigator, which is like a dark plum. I've got Sin, which is a dark red. Stone, which is like a cool tone brown, love Stone. I've got this lipstick from L'Oreal, which is like a sort of purple violet kind of colour. It's one of their Colour Riche mattes in Storm. I've got my 2 Melt Cosmetic ones, which I tried recently. I've got an MUA Luxe one. This is a number 1. It's a deep red. I've got this elf lip thing. It doesn't say the name on here, but again, it's like a dark sort of scarlet colour. I've got this cute little crown lipstick from You Can Be, which is sort of shade is Smoked Salmon. I just kept it because I like the formula. Got this one from a brand called Linen Low, which is a bright red. I think this is pretty much the only bright red I've kept, just in case I do want a bright red for some look. I've got this one from Laura Geller in the shade Audrey, which is more of a like sort of understated red. I have a few more of these that I'll get to in a minute. This is one of the Revolution Pro. I think they're called the New Neutral Satin Lipsticks. This one is in shade Rumba, which is a bit more of a sort of deeper, bit more of a sort of reddy shade. I didn't think it was quite nude, so I kept it over there. Technic Lip Junkie, which is a recent one. It's a bit more of a berry sort of colour. And the Body Shop Matte Lipstick, which is a bit more of a sort of peachy colour, so I didn't want to put it with the nudes, but I love the formula of that. Then I have this powder from a brand called CLE. It's the Melting Lip Powder, and I've still not tried this, but I'm keeping it because I want to try it eventually, even though it's not really my sort of shade. I just want to see what it's like. Then I've got a few glosses here. So I've got 2 from Fenty Beauty. They're the Gloss Bombs. This one is Fenty Glow. This one is Trophy Wife, and then I have the Revolution a Pout Bomb as well, which is a sort of dupe. Not really into glosses, but I do have a few there if I want them. And then these are all of my sort of nude bullet lips here. So I've got MAC Act Natural, which is a recent one. This one's from Illamasqua, it's the Anti-Matter lipstick. I've got this one from Douce. I've got two of these Revolution ones, I think they're just called the matte lipstick. So I've got a nude shade, and then I've got a really pale nude shade as well. I've got 3 more of the Revolution Pro Nude neutral ones. So I've got Stripped, I've got Latte, and I've got Cashmere. They're all sort of nudes. One's more pinky, and the other 2 are more brown. I've got this Kiko Sparkling Holiday Lipstick, which was limited edition, but this is one of my all-time favourites. This is a beautiful nude shade. I've got 2 of the NYX Matte Suedes. One is in Dainty Days and one is in Munchies. One is like a sort of cool toned brown nude, one's a more pinky nude. I love those are favourites. I got one of the Gosh matte lipsticks. This is in the shade Nougat, and is there's not a lot left of that guy. This is one of my all-time favourites. This is the Revlon Super Lustrous in Untold Stories. I love this. Amazing nude. Then I have another one of those MUA Luxe lipsticks, but this is in the shade 6, and this is more of a brown nude. So these ones at the front are the ones that I reach for the most, with some of my favourites. The NYX Suedes, the Revlon one, the Revolution Pro New Neutral ones. Yeah, those I would say are my ultimate favourites. Oh, and the Kiko one, of course. Okay, so that's my whole entire makeup collection. That did take a while, so it's probably going to be a bit of a long video, so sorry about that. I would say late this year I do plan on sort of doing a sort of no buy or something, and just sort of banning myself from buying makeup for a while, so that I can just do loads of videos where I just play around with all of this makeup, because there's a lot of it that I just don't get around to using, and there's a lot that I really want to get around to using. So I think I will do a no buy at some point, probably like late this year, early next year. I don't know how long I'll do it for. I don't really know what the plan is, but we'll see. That's my makeup collection, as well as a few of my favourites, my recommendations. Hope that it gave you a bit of insight into what my makeup preferences are. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.